Dorian, we are so excited that you're coming on and chatting with us about your journey. For those of you who are just joining on, we have a guest. He is a logo designer, self-taught, and from California, which we're really jealous about right now because it's cold here, very cold.
Yeah, it's a little chilly.
And he's going to tell us about his process and a little bit about his history as a designer. So for those of you who are looking to become full-time logo designers, you're in the right place. So Dorian, why don't you request to join, and we'll stop hearing ourselves talk. Talk and listen to you.
We'll listen to him. His style is really unique, so I think a lot of people will get some good insight out of him, and I think those that don't know about him should go check out him after this live, not right now. Wait till after.
Wait till after, exactly. Hi, Amelia. There he is.
There's
Hi.
the man.
Am I coming through?
Yeah.
You are. How are you?
Great, I'm great. Thank you for having me.
I like your bookshelf behind you.
I know, it's so cool.
Yeah, I'm a nerd, so I have everything under the sun back there.
That's awesome.
What kind of books do you have back there?
Everything from Game of Thrones to Christianity to Warcraft to logo design, just anything I like.
That's
fantastic.
wicked.
What are you reading right now?
Right now, oh man, I forget the title of the book. It's a very unknown author. It's about three princes. It's a big fantasy nerd book, but I don't even. It was recommended. I don't remember the name of it, and I just like these very little known authors and books, because Game of Thrones and all those other big books, everybody knows about it. So when you talk to somebody about it, they already know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So it's like there's just not much sharing. Oh yeah, I know that already. I've seen that already. So.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thanks so much. I had no idea that you were self-taught, and that is badass.
Well, the internet the last 5 years it's been a miracle. I think before 5 years ago or 10 years ago, you really had to go to school or be at the library every day to really pick up a lot of this stuff. But with the internet, I mean, if I want to be a wood carver in a month, I'll be a wood carver.
That's so true.
Especially if you're an artist. I mean, if you have the desire to do it, you just sit down and there's all this free resource out there that there's really no excuse to not just follow your dreams in this day and age.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, tell us a little bit about how you got started.
Yeah, so I've been drawing all my life. I think that's most artists. It's as far as I remember, I have memory. I've been just doing design, coloring. I've never stopped. But about 5 years ago, I joined a small church, and they needed graphic design and video, and it just came natural. And again, the internet was there, so I just out of necessity, I started picking up all these little essentials and little tips, and I just started applying it. You know, as I was learning it, I was learning and doing at the same time. So. I got good at it, I guess. So I joined the bigger church, and after they saw my work, and they're like, "It's good," and I'm like, "It is, I guess." Yeah, they told me before I knew. I was just doing it because it was there. You know, when you're given an opportunity as an artist to create, you just, whether you get paid or not, you just do it because it's fun. It gives you that little high, that accomplishment feeling that I'm creating something awesome, and they hired me as their creative director there, and I did a social media. So they both taught me, and I taught them a few other little things because they were kind of in a growing process themselves. They got really big now, but I did everything from social media, videos, graphic design, and it was just it was like 7 hours a week. I was really like constantly working.
Yeah, I saw that for a church like that. That's great.
That's everybody there, though. I think when you find your calling, you don't feel those 70 hours, 60 hours a week. You're just living what you always wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's great when you start getting paid for it, but I think if you're really following your calling, you got to pay your dues in a sense where you either get very little money, no money,
mm-hmm.
but you're going to do what you love if you're meant to do it. You're really going to follow your dreams. So, yeah, it was a lot of hours. Near the end, it was getting a little hectic. And at that time, my side business, logo design, was picking up a lot. So, you know, being my own boss versus working for anyone else it was kind of an easy call. And so far it's been awesome.
Do we get to see a sneak peek of what you're working on today?
I don't have anything right now.
What?
Show you guys. I have anything ready. I have a few things.
We didn't prep them.
Every creative says that. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
not
not
ready.
ready yet.
Not ready yet.
I think you're right though, about paying your dues, because like you said, you're self-taught, and a lot of people pay to go to school. So instead of paying to go to school, you're paying an experience, paying and doing things, like paying with your time, 70 hours a week, paying with your time instead of with your money.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd say sometimes it's easier to pay with your money, because when you're paying with your dues, you don't know where you're going.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't know if it's going to work out. When you get a degree, I think you're basically given a promise.
Mm-hmm.
Like, give us money, we guarantee you all this information and a job. But when you're doing it by yourself, it's like there's nobody there like this is going to be okay. You know?
It depends, Dorian. It all depends on the school you go to. I wouldn't say that my school promised me much, and I paid a lot of money for it.
Okay.
So I would have been better off going with the church route like you and just paying the dues of time.
Yeah.
I know some people on here really are really focused on like their Instagram following, and I noticed that you said that you went from 1,800 followers to 10,000 in 5 months.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, that was crazy. I watch a lot of The Future, a lot of Gary Vee, a lot of these people, how to grow your social media and how to basically use all the tools you have. And the biggest thing that stood out was picking a niche.
Mm-hmm.
For me, at least, because I was doing a little bit of everything. I was doing just graphics, I was doing pamphlets, I was doing videos, and well, even looking back, I can see they were pretty good work. It looked more like a company than an artist.
Mm-hmm.
So I started kind of betting on becoming more of a specialist, being good at one thing and charging more for that one thing, and also giving value. With every post I made sure that the post wasn't for me, it was for people, that they were getting something out of it. And of all the places that I got that from, is the strangest places. I got it from Bob Ross. I don't know if you guys remember the paint.
Yeah, he's the best. That's hilarious.
Because I noticed that anytime Bob Ross would pop up on TV, no matter what I was doing, I would just like stop and just stare for at least 20 seconds. And I was like, I don't know. I don't even do this. I don't do landscapes and watching this. So I kind of I married a lot of stuff that I already did, like video and recording my process. And I also saw in a documentary that all the paintings you see live him doing, he was making a copy. He already made those paintings before on the side, so he was just kind of like pretending they were not out of thin air.
Yeah, that's really smart.
Logos. I'm sorry, what?
I was gonna say, that's really smart. Preparation makes it look like it's the first time, or it makes it look like when you say like doing stand-up comedy, and you're like, oh, that's the first time they've ever told that joke. But behind the scenes, they've been working on that joke for the last 6 months.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so I kind of, a little behind the scenes, that's what I do with my logos when I'm making the logos. It might take me a few hours to get the design right. But if it's, especially when they're really complex, I'll have something ready, or there's sometimes a customer's logo and I'll just change the information, wording and stuff, because they might not be ready. But I'm looking on a second screen, kind of the design I have. But yeah, I was at my height, I was getting like 1,000 followers in 1 week, like every week. And I was like, did somebody share my stuff? It was just constantly, it was after the videos. So I started making these time-lapse videos of my process.
Yeah.
And yeah, I told my wife, I know this sounds really horrible. No artist should ever say this, but I'm like, I'll scroll back through my videos and I'll even watch my time-lapse.
That's awesome. You have to be your number one fan, right?
I love that.
It starts with you.
They're so good.
I think any especially if you're self-taught, you have that imposter syndrome a lot. So I do that to kind of help me, and like, you don't completely suck. Like you're getting. So yeah, it's really giving value to the viewers. That would you watch your own stuff? Would you stop to look at this post, and that's kind of where I'm at. Where probably the biggest tip is picking a niche, making sure you're giving value to your viewer. Even if you're like really good looking and you're taking selfies, you're still giving value to somebody because you're pleasing to the eye. So there you go.
That's the first time I've ever heard that. That's hilarious.
You're helping all those people that are out there taking selfies feel good about themselves. Like, my feed matters too.
Yes, be funny, something. I don't know. Develop a personality. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I know design is therapeutic for me. Do you feel like it's therapeutic for you?
Depends on the task, but yes.
I noticed there some of your audience found watching your videos therapeutic. Can you tell us more about like your design process, and is it therapeutic for you?
Certain parts of it are, like, not in the beginning. when you're not on the same page with your customers. It's a lot of back and forth. So the actual creating of is very calming, really relaxing. It's a constant reminder why you're doing what you're doing. But you have to kind of earn that little high, because in the beginning you're trying to get all this data, references, these calls, talking to the customers back and forth. Is this what we're talking about? Is it a color palette? Is it a typeface? Blah, blah, blah. So that's stressful. But at least for me. Yeah, but I think once you got all your media down, you know exactly what you're doing, and you're creating the actual art piece. I don't know what to call it. It is pretty fun. You do get a high. I love to put music and just relax and just get lost in the process. So
the music that you choose for your videos on your feed, is that what you're listening to while you're designing, or is that curated?
No, I listen a lot of tri-hop and lo-fi. It sounds kind of similar, but I wouldn't put the music with the time lapse. It's a type of music I listen to, but it's not really like live. I put it after. I actually use a Soundstripe for my videos. It's a pretty good deal, $20 a month for unlimited. Yeah, because when you're getting started, you use like actual music, and your videos get taken down. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I see some people.
Dorian, how did you get into doing that like vintage style of logos and design? Because it seems like you said it's your niche. It's something that spoke to you. But was it by accident, or were you looking for that and you found a lot of joy in it yourself, and then you worked at it to get yourself to this level?
Yeah, it goes into when you're starting. I would say try out everything, and actually, when you get that moment where like, like that's what I want to do, or you get really excited about, and that's what happened to me. That was the thing. At times I wasn't sure what my niche was going to be on top of logo design, like what type of logos. And when I started seeing these old school kind of vintage, I really fell in love with them. I'm still kind of developing my own thing. I'm still trying different things, but that style really spoke to me. It was just through going through Pinterest and other people's process, and I don't know. It just felt like it's something I want to do. Even when I look at it, I like looking at those vintage ones versus these new minimalist that are more in style, and most more bigger companies use, like Nike and Apple, where they're very small, very minimalist. But this is just me speaking, but I feel sometimes like I'm cheating my customers when I do. If I did it, they'll ask for just a line and a dot, and I'm like, that looks good, but I feel like I'm cheating you. And it's not for me. It's I really like more of these ornate kind of illustrations.
So do you turn down work? So if somebody's like, oh, I want a minimalist design, are you like, no, I can't do it?
Yeah, fortunately, right now, yes. I'm more honest now. Not in the beginning. In the beginning, you got to do what you got to do. It's like, yes, I'll do a dot. But now, because of time and work's picked up a lot, I am able to say, you know what, it is not a good fit for both of us, because I don't want to put that on my portfolio, or I'm just too busy. I could be doing this other project, but not in the beginning. In the beginning, you gotta do.
Like you said, you gotta pay your dues.
You mentioned that like
You really do.
under like the 5 tips to give to designers, you mentioned that that you basically think that people should follow only designers. And
Yeah.
I was kind of confused by that, because how do you like, are you getting work from designers? Like, where's your work coming from?
Okay. Oh, the reasoning behind that was because it's kind of like you want to do something, whatever that something is. Like I said, if you want to do wood carving, you want to be I don't know, you're diving in your specific faith, whatever. It helps cleaning out your social media to be surrounded by both positivity and those things that you want. When you wake up in the morning, first thing you see is logo design. And you're seeing logo design. You're going to bed and you're seeing logo design. You're consumed by it. It's bombarding you whether you like it or not, because you took those steps before to be enveloped by that, whether you like it or not. And that's kind of what I did, because some people believe social media is bad for you, which it can be if you don't use it right. But it can be a powerful tool if you put the right things, the right people, the right pages, and you're doing that one thing. If you want to be a great cook, and all you follow is cooking pages and documentaries on cooking, and it'll help you. That's what I meant by that.
Right.
So that's what I did to myself. I forced myself to unlike a lot of stuff that was taking time away, even stuff that I liked. Like if I was watching a lot of movie trailers or reaction videos, I was just unfollowing all of that, because this wasn't the season for that. So I give priority to logo design or graphic design in general.
Kind of focused in.
Yeah, I respect that.
Do you do like so you mentioned Gary Vee earlier, and he was kind of like one of the people that you maybe idolized or followed. Do you use his method? So like the $1.80 method, is that something that you use for engagement? And are you familiar with it?
No, is that what, for marketing, or what is that?
So what his $1.80 is giving your 2 cents to 90 people. So basically going through Instagram, finding people that you resonate with, may it be another designer or a potential client or someone that you connect with, and leaving your 2 cents. So leaving a well thought out comment on 90 people, and trying to build that engagement, not just try and pull people in with your posts, but also push your energy out there by engaging in their posts.
I have messaged people before, but I only message. This is also coming from Gary Vee, making sure you're giving value, or you're giving that positive energy, not expecting anything in return on the inside, not on the outside, on the inside. Like if you're not expecting it, otherwise it's just false intentions. I do that with people with less followers than me. If I see somebody that's really talented, and I know they're going places because they're posting every day, they're commenting on people's stuff, they're showing their process, I encourage them, because I wish somebody would have encouraged me. I've never had anybody reach out to me and be like, hey,
so sweet.
You guys, thank you. Somebody said, hey, you do great work. Let's share your stuff. I get a lot of comments and positive stuff, but when I was learning a lot about design, I didn't know anybody who did design or was better at it than me, or was giving me any kind of positive energy. It was always work related, or it was just by myself. So I make sure that I do message people, but it's to encourage them. It's not to get let's connect and do something. You know, it's more about like if I see somebody I follow and they leave a nasty comment, somebody else, it's something, just don't pay attention to that, because 9 out of 10 times it's somebody's having a bad day.
Yeah.
So pay attention to that.
I love it.
Yeah, I love your mentality by that, and I love how you're trying to reach out and encourage these newer designers and these people that are trying to gain a following. Like I'm like you. Like when I went to school, there wasn't the future hadn't taken off. There wasn't as many YouTube courses. There wasn't this community that there seems to be now. And it's so great to try and reach back and help these people up that are now just starting, and like giving them, like you said, that one little comment, like, you got this, you're doing it. The person's like, oh, I was just about to give up, and now I can like it puts fire under them. I love that mentality.
Yeah. It's so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes you feel good. I think there's a lie our society or Western culture tells us is that if you're trying to do something positive and if it feels good, then you're not doing it for the right reasons. But that's a lie. I think
Really?
it is.
Do people say that?
Yeah,
That's
be like,
nasty.
oh, you're doing that because it makes you feel good. Helping because you get a high too. I've had a lot of people tell me that, and I'm like,
Really?
well, it's not a bad thing. You know, it's
Yeah.
something that's
It's so weird that people even
yeah.
comment on that.
I'd ask them like, so do you only do bad things because then you get a bad feeling? Like, what is
Yeah.
your incentive
I
to
think,
do
yeah,
good if it's not to feel good as well?
yeah.
Yeah, it's people up to no good. It's usually what it is.
Yeah.
They need to get back to those people.
They're trying to like make whatever they're doing seem a little bit more righteous because they're not doing it to feel good.
That's
Yeah,
bizarre.
I'm doing this good thing that makes me feel horrible.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
So, like, imagine you go back to when you first started. What advice do you wish that you knew? Like, what do you wish that you knew at that time?
Being more aware of how the contrast of how amazing this can be once you're doing it full time, but also how impossibly difficult and heartbreaking it can be in the beginning,
Mhm.
where you're not always going to get any affirmation every step of the way that this is going to work out or this could even work out. Financially can be difficult in the beginning. A lot of hours, sometimes for little pay, no pay. Making sure you're always having this to do that. Reminding yourself you're doing this because this is what you're meant to do. You got to tell yourself that this is that you can't. You can be working for somebody else doing a lot more money, but there's no price on, like we said earlier, picking your own projects, having more control over your life, your hours. It's about liberty. Just being aware of how tenacious you got to be about this drive of that. Even if you fail at a project with a customer with any part of this, that you just got to keep pushing forward and not giving up. And no matter how hard it gets, this is considering that you have a good finger on the pulse, that you're pretty good at what you do. Because if you know those people you see on American Idol and somehow they're the only ones that can't tell they can't sing, but
Yeah.
you got to be aware that if you're not that great, that have also faith that you got to practice a little bit more. You're going to get there. And me,
Well,
I know.
like, wouldn't you say that though to somebody that wasn't very good? Like, it is practice. Like, you can learn anything, but you really have to
Yeah,
have grit, right?
yeah. I think it's with loving it. I mean, if you're loving it, you're gonna surround yourself more of that, and
Yeah.
just it's a circle. Because you love it, you get better. Uh, I just don't see how you can be madly in love with art since you're 6 and be 30 and then be absolutely horrendous at it.
It's not having that like those accountability partners. I think you're right, where it's like you need to surround yourself with the right people. That if you're doing something like out of line or you're doing something that isn't good, they have the relationship with you that they'll tell you and not just let you continue to sing if you can't sing a note.
So don't surround yourself by your family.
Well, that's not love. Like if someone cares about you, letting you continue to sing terribly is not helping you in any way, even if it feels like it is. You have to tell the person, like, don't sing. I know I can't sing. I'm not going to do it because people that love me told me that I suck.
Absolutely. And I think I had that with my parents equally. My mom, no matter how much I sucked in the beginning, she was like, that is the greatest thing ever. And my dad was like, that is horrible and you should erase that and start over again. And
do you feel like that kind of like stop some of your growth? Because you're thinking like, you know what? I reached the top of my mountain. I'm as good as I'll ever be.
Yeah, in the beginning, I think at this stage, I know for a fact that I'm nowhere near how I can be. I'm still learning a lot. Like I said, I have a lot of friends that design way better than me and deserve way more followers, but they post like once every 3 months. on social media. They've been designers since 2000, and they're not growing. All their customers are just in Bakersfield, California. And that's another thing, because of social media. I mean, I haven't done business locally in like over a year. Most of my clients are from overseas. I don't know how or why. I don't know if it was a
Is that
hashtag.
from Instagram? Do you get a
Yeah.
majority or like from Instagram?
80% of my income is from Instagram. It's just constantly, every day, people just messaging me, and I'm like, "How? I haven't run one ad, not once.
Wow, that's
I,
fantastic.
That's really
I have
great.
it. Yeah, I have it in the back of my head. I'm gonna run an ad, and at this point, I'm like, is it even worth it? Because how much money would I stop to to make it worth it?
That's encouraging.
Do you have any other like avenues of sales, or do you just rely on like word of mouth and Instagram?
I work out with a lot of churches that need media. That's where the other 20% comes from.
Nice.
I still do those and their sermon series. So it comes with a graphic design, like a package, graphic design, skills. If they need stickers, posters, I do a lot of that. That's pretty rewarding too, because it's a lot of these places can't afford graphic design. So that was kind of behind the scenes. So I know everything that goes into it, and how many people are willing to work crazy hours, sometimes for very little pay or none sometimes. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, again, I attribute everything I'm doing to my growth to the value thing. Like whatever it is your specific niche is, to really pump up to its maximum, that you're giving insane value to your viewers, whatever it is that you're all about. And just for me, it was just, if I'm designing, then to me it was common sense, just record what I'm doing and just put it out there, and it worked like a charm. So that's great.
Super smart. It seems so simple, but not a lot of people know how to do that or think to do that. And like by being consistent, that's probably what's helped you too.
We drew it on our window in our design department here. We drew like, "Are you screen recording?" on our window at one point, just to make sure that we have that kind of top of mind. That, and also, have you saved? The two things you should maybe remember.
Yeah, absolutely. That's in the beginning. That was, I think, the thing, saving your work.
The hard way.
Yeah.
So good. Do you guys have any questions for Dorian? Feel free to put them in the comments or request to join.
I just see a lot of love for Dorian in the comments.
Yeah, a lot of people love.
I haven't read any of them, so
you can go back and it can be like you watch your progress videos of yourself. You can just go back and read all like the nice comments of yourself.
It's important.
Oh, he's spinning.
Oh,
there he is. Yeah.
Oh, there he is. Oh, there we go.
Sorry. Yeah, the audio went out on my. There you go.
Your internet's a little choppy, but it's good now, I think.
Ooh. Was there any questions?
There was from Tam Daedra, and I think you kind of went over it a little bit. Love the username. Tam was just asking, what suggestions do you have to build your Instagram following? And you went over it a little bit with finding your niche and being consistent. Is there anything else that you'd let Tam know about growing your following?
Yeah, reiterating what I said about if you're serious about whatever it is that you're doing on your social media, to really envelop all your social media in that one thing you're doing. So again, if you're a cook, if you're wood carving, if you're whatever it is that you're doing, an artist, it helps a lot to your Facebook, your YouTube, your Instagram, Twitter, to really follow more people that do what you do, that are better at what you do. Also, learn a little bit about marketing, a little bit of business, because it's important to know how to do your invoices, how to give a quote, how to ask for deposits. And I think that's something I learned early on. And even if it's your own mother, you better ask for a deposit, because
yeah,
that's so true. Yeah.
Working with
my mom's a lot of. I'm sorry, what?
Working with family can be difficult.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think I being truthful is not always being mean. You love somebody enough to tell them the truth for their benefit, not for yours. You can't
I
always
love
trust
that.
your feelings because
Yeah.
if you trust your feelings, you're gonna get into a lot of trouble in your life. So yeah, it's important to just be truthful. And my mom does a lot of business, or she does a lot of these really ornate like curtains, like custom. And so she does a lot of business with people like that. And I constantly tell her, you got to work with deposits, invoices, contracts,
Hmm.
even if it's me, because it protects me, it protects you. It's this feeling way. But I'm your relative, though. You can't do that to me.
Yeah.
And it's a agreement. We talked about it already. You know, we both said yes to this a week ago. So it gets you. It just clears the air and a lot of stuff. So
Yeah, I think
learning
people have a
business.
hard time with that, with like talking about money, talking about contracts. They fear if they bring it up, then the client or like whoever is going to run away by
Yeah.
talking about it. And I think you're right.
Yeah. It's like a band-aid. You just got to rip it off.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Yeah, yeah. And added to that, if the client does run away, that is a huge blessing because you did not want to do business with that
I
person.
like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
You're amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you. We really appreciate you coming on. Somebody
Thank you
mentioned
for
to you that they also agree that working with family can be difficult. Yeah, we know. We
it
all
is.
know. Oh, here, the questions
All
are
right.
rolling in.
Oh,
Luis Santoyo says, "What do you have to say for someone who has hit the designer plateau?"
hi, Lewis, one of my buddies in real life. Yeah, he used to work with me in one of my last jobs at a larger church. I'm sorry, what is it? Wise for designers that have hit a plateau?
Correct.
Well, I would say going back to what I said earlier, making sure you're posting. Oh, I never mentioned this, but I got this from Gary Vee. In the beginning, making sure you post at least 4 times a day,
Oh my
because
God.
it's free.
4 times a
Yeah,
day. Oh my God.
and Gary Vee is really cruel. He's be like, I can stalk you, and if you have 5 minutes to like do something that's not work, you had 5 minutes to post something. So he's really cruel about it. Um, so I was posting a lot in the beginning. You know, I expected it to suck. I expected it to be uncomfortable. I expected to see no results in the beginning for months, and having that mentality that you're not going to see the results right away. Um, I think I had a metaphor in a post I made once in a while back, basically like a farmer, where if you plant a seed and you're going out every 5 minutes to stare at the soil, like where's my tree?
Yeah.
You're gonna be very disappointed.
Wow.
But you still have to go out, water it every day, see no results, let the sun hit it, see no results, and do it again for months. And then one day, boom, it just
Yeah.
starts popping up. So you got to have faith in the system that you're posting a lot and that you're following people that you admire that are better than you and that you're growing, you're learning about business, you're posting, and you're giving value
Yeah.
to your viewers.
I love that. Yeah, I love your analogy with my wife would tell you I'm all about analogies, so I'll probably write that one down. And I overuse them as much as possible because I find so much joy in it. But that's a
Must be
really good
creative
one.
thing. I find a lot of creatives like it. It's
Yeah,
visual.
I think are important because that's how we got to where we're at as a civilization. It encapsulates morality, encapsulates advice, and just like a little picture, a little story, versus trying to remember all these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 20 steps of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true.
That's so good.
We have one more question. So, what are your favorite design resources? So, inspiration sources, books, YouTube accounts, podcasts.
Pinterest, a lot, like a lot. Pinterest, Behance is another one. Instagram. I'm always on Instagram. I'm saving people's stuff. I'll make sure I hit alert for if somebody that really inspires me. I'll hit that that it announces that somebody made a new post.
Mm-hmm.
What else? YouTube once in a while. I have not been on Dribble. I know that's a great resource for some people, but it's mainly Pinterest and Behance that I get a lot of my inspiration, and just people I follow on Instagram. And you have it's important to have a collection of a lot of stuff, because it's good to invent something new all the time, and you should be original. But if you don't know what's come before you, then you're just going to be creating something that nobody's seen, and that's not always a good thing.
Yeah, there has to be some familiarity to it. You're right. And what is his name? Austin Kleon says, like, you have to have those 5 people. So the way to create originality is have 5 people that you try and emulate. If you did it with 1, you'd be a direct copy. Once you do it to 5 and kind of put in your own kind of spin on things, it's like a unique take on like an older idea, possibly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
do you post on Behance as well, or do you mainly focus yourself on Instagram?
I have some stuff, but I'm not really focused on Behance. I use it more of a resource, less of a portfolio. I'm actually in the process of deleting everything and cleaning it up to be more logo oriented, because right now it's more of more like rebranding or branding, and something I've stayed away from. And I started following a lot of people that just do logo design and how they lay out their process on Behance, using that platform for breaking down their logos, resources, colors, typeface, all that. So I use it more as a resource, not so much as a platform to announce my media.
That's awesome. I think there's power in focus. There's power in focusing, like you did with your Instagram feed, focusing on what you want to do. Same with choosing your platform. As long as you're aware that one day Instagram may not be a thing, so you have that backup plan. You have other sources and avenues for revenue that can come in. It's not just one platform dependent, because if it crashed tomorrow, where would things be for you? So having that in your back of your mind is probably pretty important.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something I'm really big on this coming January, because I have thought about that. It's like having a one-legged chair. It's that's
hey, we're
not
sitting
good.
on one-legged chairs right now.
Actually, I was gonna do this, like this.
Our one-legged chair.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, somebody comes and cracks on one leg. It seems very scary, but if somebody's up to no good, chopping one legs off chairs,
looking over our shoulders over here.
Oh. Hello. So we've gone way over. I can't believe it's been 40 minutes already.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's up to you guys. You let me know. Well, thank you guys for having me. It was an honor and had a lot of fun, and I hope it helped some people.
Definitely did.
Keep creating. We love watching your stuff.
It's mesmerizing.
Thank you.
And if you go to posting 7 times a day, I'll still watch it.
Wow. I love you. Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you guys.
Thanks,
Talk to
Dorian.
you later.